My Sil pretended to be sick for years to live with our parents, but when I had a baby she became obsessed and tried to convince everyone she was the real mother. I, 28F, have been married to my husband Jack, 31M, for 4 years now. I met Jack at a friend's wedding where he was a photographer. We clicked instantly and started dating shortly after. His family, especially his sister Sabrina, 26F, was very welcoming when we first met. Sabrina lived with Jack and their parents because she had some health issues that made it difficult for her to work full-time. She had been diagnosed with chronic fatigue syndrome and fibromyalgia in her early 20s, which meant she needed a lot of support from her family. Jack and Sabrina were always close growing up. Their parents told me stories about how Sabrina would follow Jack everywhere when they were kids, and he was always protective of her. Their mom passed away when Sabrina was 12 and Jack was 17, so their bond grew even stronger. Their dad remarried a few years later to Linda, who has been a great stepmom to them both. When Jack and I started dating, Sabrina was genuinely excited. She would often join us for movie nights and dinners, and we became good friends. She confided in me about her struggles with her health conditions and how she felt left behind while everyone else her age was building their careers and relationships. I always tried to be supportive and include her in our plans. After Jack proposed, Sabrina helped me plan the entire wedding. She was my main support during the planning process and even helped me pick out my wedding dress. Everyone commented on how lucky I was to have such a wonderful sister-in-law. Looking back, I think that's when things started to change, but I was too caught up in wedding preparations to notice. After we got married, Jack and I bought a house just 15 minutes away from his parents' place. We wanted to stay close to family, and since Sabrina couldn't drive much due to her conditions, we thought it would be easier for her to visit. She started coming over almost every day. At first, it was nice having her around. She would help with cooking and cleaning, and we would watch our favorite shows together. Things started to change when I found out I was pregnant last year. We were all excited about the baby, and Sabrina seemed especially thrilled about becoming an aunt. She started buying baby clothes and toys before we even knew the gender. But as my pregnancy progressed, I noticed she was becoming increasingly critical of everything I did. It started with small comments about my diet. She would question why I was eating certain foods, saying they weren't good for the baby. Then she started monitoring my activities, telling Jack I was being too active and risking the baby's health when I was just doing normal household chores. She even created a spreadsheet to track my pregnancy activities and diet, which she shared with Jack's family without my knowledge. When I was about 6 months pregnant, Sabrina convinced Jack and their parents that I needed someone to help me around the house. Without discussing it with me first, they decided she would start staying over during weekdays to help out. I tried to protest, saying I was perfectly capable of managing on my own, but everyone made me feel like I was being ungrateful for refusing her help. The situation got much worse after Emma was born. Sabrina basically moved in, claiming she needed to help with the baby. She took over everything: feeding times, bath times, even nighttime routines. If I tried to take care of my own baby, she would hover over me and correct everything I did. She kept telling Jack that I wasn't holding Emma correctly, that I wasn't burping her properly, that I wasn't paying attention to her cues. I started feeling like a guest in my own home. Sabrina rearranged the nursery without asking me, saying it was safer her way. She changed Emma's feeding schedule because she read something online about better sleep patterns. She would rush to pick up Emma the moment she made any sound, not giving me a chance to attend to my own baby. The real truth came out when my best friend visited and showed me some messages she had received from mutual acquaintances. Sabrina had been telling everyone that I was suffering from postpartum depression and neglecting Emma. She claimed she had to move in because I would leave Emma crying for hours while I slept all day. She told people I wasn't interested in being a mother and that she was basically raising Emma herself. I was shocked and heartbroken. When I confronted her, she started crying and said she was just worried about Emma's well-being. She claimed she had noticed signs of neglect and was trying to protect her niece. When I asked for specific examples, she brought up times when I had let Emma cry for a few minutes while I was in the bathroom or preparing a bottle. Jack was initially torn about the situation. Sabrina was his baby sister, and he had always protected her. But when we discovered she had been secretly recording me around the house, trying to catch me doing something wrong, he finally saw how far she had gone. She had hidden cameras in Emma's room and our living room, which is not only creepy but also illegal. We confronted her together and told her she needed to move out and wasn't welcome in our house anymore. She had a complete meltdown, screaming that we couldn't keep her away from Emma and that she was more of a mother to Emma than I ever was. She called their parents, who rushed over and started defending her behavior, saying she was just being protective and that families need to stick together. Jack's parents are now furious with us. They say we're being cruel to Sabrina, who is just trying to help. They brought up her health issues and how she can't have children of her own, saying we should be more understanding of her maternal instincts. His stepmom Linda keeps calling and texting, telling us we're tearing the family apart. I feel horrible about the whole situation, but I can't let someone undermine my role as a mother and spread lies about me, even if she is family. Jack supports my decision, but I can tell he's struggling with the family tension. Sabrina keeps sending us long messages about how we're destroying her only chance at experiencing motherhood, and it's making me question if I'm being too harsh. So Ida for cutting off my Sil and keeping her away from her niece?